Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As always, Rich is doing another video on XRP today, so I hope everyone is having a great day wherever they are in the world. We will be talking about XRP, and as I mentioned in a video yesterday, it feels a lot like 2022 again. There are more and more Ripple rails and XRP rails every single day. Anidos is the source of this. In order to improve our forthcoming financial super app, we are pleased to collaborate with Archway Finance to introduce regulated and MECA-compliant payment rails on the XRP ledger. Anidos will use the USD, EUR, GBP, and Archway secure rails with immediate RL/USD settlement. Thus, the fiat integration is visible by allowing users to deposit USD, EUR, and GBP straight into Anidos. Traditional finance is linked to our on-chain ecosystem. 2. Immediate settlements with RL/USD and Europe are imminent. Withdrawals for taxes, payroll, and vendor invoices. With the use of RL/USD and Europe, our local bank transactions settle promptly through Archway's rails, facilitating quick and easy pay-ins and payouts. The third is regulatory alignment. In order to ensure MECA compliance with complete on-ramp and off-ramp connectivity, Anidos will join in the Archway's VASP program and obtain CASP certification. It is now RL/USD. They will also use XRP in the future. Today, these rails are occurring daily, spreading out and developing globally. The recurrence of this is absurd. You saw such announcements every day back in 2022. Ripple continued to install rail after rail, while everyone else was preoccupied with FTX. Furthermore, the XRP ETF hoopla is genuine. Listen to this out. Yes, I had assumed that Solana would perform rather well, but our Solana futures products might serve as a reliable predictor. Additionally, we now offer the Solana product with staking. How are they doing, ironically? Actually, it's pretty good. Ironically, however, leverage futures XRP and XRP products are also available. In fact, they attracted even greater attention when they launched following the Solana items. Thus, there is a great deal of interest. Will it have the same amount of attention as the introduction of a Bitcoin ETF? I'm not at all. For example, anyone who thinks, oh, Bitcoin ETFs made $40 billion, my XRP ETF will receive the same amount or whatever it is. This is simply not going to work that way. These assets have a longer tail. Demand, I believe, will exist. Plenty will be available. For any of these assets to succeed, there will most likely be a number of goods. Perhaps not all 10 of the ones I mentioned, but a good number of them. XRP ETFs are still not expected to beat Bitcoin ETFs according to Bloomberg. They still just see Bitcoin, I'm telling you, but XRP is going to be a surprise. I continue to believe that XRP ETFs will perform better than Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin is already losing ground to other currencies. Already they are looking beyond Bitcoin. What do you suppose they're searching for? What do you think will happen when the remaining Solana ETFs launch if XRP continues to outperform them? A lawyer claims that the XRP army had an impact on the SEC case against Ripple. Accordingly, Johnny Deaton thinks that the XRP army had an impact on the SEC's 2023 case against Ripple. According to a judge's split decision, selling XRP on public exchanges did not contravene securities regulations. This August, all appeals were dismissed, ending the judicial drama. According to Deaton, the judge partially ruled in favor of Ripple because of the thousands of affidavits that were filed to the court. The difference was ours. That difference was the XRP army. As you are aware, Ripple has endured the most hardships to reach this point, but XRP has now received legal clarification. That won't ever change. Additionally, Hugo Filian quickly shut down Ethereum. You see why it's an L1 instead than an L2. Flair's Hugo Filian says L2s and sidechains as a whole have always been a dumb idea. Anything that gains enough popularity or utility will eventually become an L1, because the value lies there. The Ethereum roadmap as a whole has been abandoned. It was actually dead when it arrived. A sucker, or worse, is somebody attempting to rehash L2 sidechains. Ethereum's roadmap is always being updated. You know. Ethereum, however, also contributes to inflation. We have no idea how much Ethereum will ultimately exist. However, every enhancement they make has no practical benefit for Ethereum. Its position in the new financial system is not improved. In any case, Ethereum will be surpassed by the majority of utility-driven cryptocurrencies. Listen to this clip. It's only a matter of time. Hendrik Zaberg is this person. He discussed a bubble and potential future events with Black Swan capitalists. He is the chief macro analyst at Swissblock. When it does occur, listen to this. Let's try to obtain the XRP first, shall we? I must admit that it appears to be quite bullish at the moment. Again, it's hard to say. Targets. No issue, I wouldn't be 3 or 4 times from now. That was easy for me to see. Once more though, I haven't really done a lot of in-depth analysis. However, it appears that if I pay attention to you guys, I should do a bit more analysis on the XRP. What is the expected magnitude of the crash? In the case of the world's largest market bubble, if you compare market capitalization to GDP and look at all metrics, you'll see that it is by far the largest, especially if you cross them. And there's the conjecture. If you look at the $9 trillion cryptocurrency industry, where Bitcoin accounts for 1/3 of it, or even a bit more, you'll realize that Bitcoin will most likely. I'm willing to venture that Bitcoin will plummet to about 4,000. I anticipate seeing between 4,000 and 16,000. And that depends on our current technological configuration. Furthermore, from a technological standpoint, it's pretty quiet. To be clear, that sounds strange, but it's 16,000, yeah, 100%. I believe that no one truly notices that we're going down there. If you have that too, he therefore believes that Bitcoin will plummet to $16,000. I mean, that might actually occur. And consider what is going on in the globe at the moment. A new financial system will replace the one we currently have. Bitcoin will lose its significance at that point. People are still unaware of that. Since they are all repeating Michael Saylor's statements and the news from the mainstream media, they are all citing the same thing at the moment. However, I believe that people will begin to learn that Bitcoin is not just up, and it is also not a fantastic store of value, until it begins to go down. A top investor reveals their personal strategy to use XRP to earn $1 million. Every single investor in XRP, in my opinion, aspires to reach $1 million. Austin Hilton, a seasoned cryptocurrency investor, has shared his particular strategy for making $1 million off of his XRP holdings. He stated that his primary strategy is to purchase and keep XRP over time. He stated that he has been gradually accumulating XRP and intends to keep onto it until the asset's value at least triples from its current levels. He thinks that XRP can eventually reach its price target of between $80 and $90. The pillars of Hilton's profit strategy are perseverance and long-term planning. He stated, "I don't really care how long it takes, but I think XRP will go beyond that. I will hold whether it takes a year, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is in line with other XRP commenters' opinions, who advise investors to buy 10,000 tokens and wait for the coin to reach the triple-digit range so that portfolios can reach million-dollar levels. Now I'll tell you, given the current state of affairs, 1,000 XRP will probably be worth $1 million in the next 2 years. However, he also discusses building up XRP regardless of the current price, because he understands that there is still more to be done and that the current price is significantly undervalued. And he's probably going to see that in this run if he's waiting for an 80 to 90 XRP. In the upcoming months, we should expect to see a 3-digit XRP if all the chart analysts and those examining all the catalysts are correct. Let's hope that comes to pass. The anti-XRP industry is also never-ending. I was unaware that a digital assets classification as a security is still based on the decentralization test. I mistook it for a speech. This man continues by stating that all assets except Bitcoin are securities. Are we still at that stage of the crypto game, you know? Are the tales from 2017, 2018, 2019 still being promoted? Because these stories have a long history. XRP is not a security, as we now know. According to a judge, it is not a security. We now have legal certainty, so it's not a security today, and won't be one tomorrow, or at any point in the future. To encourage people to avoid XRP, however, these individuals must promote that narrative. Why? Because to their fear of XRP. And this is absurd. As a result of this, everyone ultimately comprehends